So today I'll be talking a lot about space for the self and kind of um, our past versions of ourselves and special needs. And what I'm building off of is actually what I started with last week, which was about the different centers of the body. So I'm going to go into now where I ended off, and I wanted to leave this for to take it deeper. I got some paint on my lip. I was making art. And so first of all, in the expression body. So the expression body is when the heart moves into communicating from the place of connection. We want to express the love, express the joy, express the anger. So here I did connect with that part of my body and went into what can be inside of this area. And remember, this is not really with judgment. It's more about just being like a calm explorer. So for me, I found here's where eating and smoking gets stuck, like congestion, mucus, from both. My voice comes from different parts of my body, but it comes out of my mouth. I often have this clicking tension, this locking pain in my throat and neck. It's what tells me that there's components not in harmony, and also reminds me that what goes in has to come out. So if it's going into my heart, it has to come out. If it's going in my mind, it has to come out. Like, that's what my words will indicate. Also, I noticed some of the ways in which I release the pressure is through over-talking, sighing, groaning. None of those are good or bad, they just are. Practicing silence, though, releases the reactivity. When my throat clenches and I have to speak up, because that's where, it's from my mind or my heart, you know? Something I realized that makes a weight, if you get the idea, like a horrible scarf is speaking for no reason, just talking almost to hear my own voice, or vile speech, like when I say horrible things, complaining or gossiping or talking bad about people. I also noticed that my teeth and my tongue are involved with all of this. And other things that really impact this area from my past, that this part of my body holds memories of, is kissing. So kissing for me, I've kissed people I didn't like or love. It was just what I thought I had to do. And I feel like that kind of got stuck here. And I'm still working on not just the kissing, even oral sex. I don't mean to be crude. I don't know who's watching this, but just the times where I had oral sex, not from love. It wasn't expressing my desire to please. It was my expressing a sense of power, control, and also fear that I didn't have a choice. However, speaking positively, and what ends up happening in those areas is that I end up feeling strangled and like I don't have a chin. And you can see that at times, you can imagine, when this center is physically clear, I actually am open. And, now it's medium, kind of in the middle, but sometimes it's really, really tight in, and it's like, and that's almost this idea of like something ramming in, sorry to be so graphic again, or like putting pressure, and I'm like, on the one hand trying to pull back, but I'm also forcing myself to be here. So you can see why that ends up happening. But I wanted to say, speaking positively, naming goodness, is like a reinforcement mechanism for faculties like hope, kindness, and gratitude, which I find live in my heart or in my mind and kind of can come through in my voice. And then I'm going into the sacred body, which is like the edges, right? Like pineal gland, or you could say the face of the angel in life, which really means like clarity without attachment. So I see my sacrifices and my compartmentalizations with self-compassion and a resolve to be open. This is where they reside, my ability to circumcise my desires and to create edges. Like I said, compartmentalizing, it's sacred. Actually, it says this is holy, this is not holy. This is permitted, this is not permitted. So it's on a line. And also that, in that same way, self-compassion, who could forgive me, who could reconcile, is the one that is sacred. You can come back to me, Shayna, from this place. Seeing the possibility for interdependence, even during attachment, codependencies, and fear. In other words, I'll give an example. Yesterday, before I exercised, I heard this angry robotic voice go, I want to destroy, I want to make, I want to produce, I want to cut the space. And that's why I'll be talking soon about space, taking up less space, more space. But when I heard that, I said, how about you exercise with me, Destroyer One? Wild, angry Destroyer One. And then later, we'll destroy the space and make conversation. And we'll destroy the blankness and make art. And we'll destroy the whiteness and write. We'll journal. I didn't end up journaling. I felt my destroyer self punished me by like overeating, filling up space. There was more space outside of me I was supposed to take up, and then I had to fill it up inside. But today, I'll do better. Every day I'll do better, because what I'm trying to say here is that I saw the possibility during what could have caused codependence, fear, making drama, and all that, from this edges, this angle. And you could say like light, even our sight comes from seeing edges. So the spiritual sight comes from seeing edges. So even, interdependence here means like I could see the need, and then instead of doing the same thing I always do, I could actually come to the need and say, we'll do it together. I see what you need. And I can also do that in relationship. I see the need to be held. This one that won't hold me, I'll be able to have somebody hold me. Maybe I have a friend or family member or partner or whoever. And this is what I would say for living in the center, and also trusting the invisible goodness I can't see or touch. So I can't feel the edge with my edge of my skin, or I can't see the edge with my eyes, but there's an edge there that my sacred body can connect with or perceive. Recognizing challenges, giving myself credit rather than trying to be someone I'm not, or more advanced than where I'm at now. And this is because of the less reliance on paying attention to the external change and a more inward focus on the stillness. And that's again coming back to like letting the forgiveness live in me of what I've done or who I am, and seeing the possibilities for even more self-compassion. And then not wasting time speaking of anything thoughtlessly or carelessly or without focus. And this is where the mind, articulate means to cut with speech. So to use words like a sword, they give and I'll talk, I'm sure, more about this another time, but so I don't want to go too into it now, but just basically the words that come from the knife of the sacred should cut very carefully, because it creates edges. When we speak from that place, we create edges in our world. And then finally, there was this sense of a glittering, exquisite, desirable outlook point. It was like from a point, and it looked out, and it was like a hollow, long tube. And it's like, if not too much gravity competing from lower centers of, mixes, consumed mixes, there was this very like elixir quality to this liquid crystal kind of from this area. And it wasn't contaminated or colored, it just had an edge, and that's it. And now finally the logic body, which is like when you wear a crown, when you could see for the whole kingdom, and all your feelings are different subjects in your court, and all your needs are varying families that are competing for resources from the whole entire government. So I want there to be the option, the possibility, the opening. I want to be given a chance to be myself up close and without having to be perfect already, and instead be witnessed and witness in process. I want to be established in an established family and share my love with more than one person, and I want to be appreciated for my mind and body that God gave as a gift, and I look after, and I'm protecting and healing. So you can hear that my logic body is actually able to manage. It's a manager. It's able to be the king. It almost has no needs of its own. It's actually our faculty of being in dignity, because all these parts of us are just parts of us. They don't reflect the I am. I am that 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 I am. I want someone who knows their limits, yet practices going just past the edge when it's safe, for the sake of growth. So this is where I started to integrate this idea of the edges, right? So, respecting edges, respecting limits, and kind of recognizing that as what keeps me safe, and also what keeps me spiritually unmixed or uncontaminated, also needs to be looked at as there are times where I need to press the edge a little further, the edge of my comfort, the edge of my, the old habits. So I need to press the edge a little bit further for the sake of growth. And so I want that to be around me, and I even want a partner to do that with. And then I want to spend time doing regular life activities with an attitude of service, and something bigger than me, inspired by a partnership that brings me closer to myself. I kind of want to make house. You heard, I want to like have a family, an established family that either someone has kids or we have kids together. I want to be part of that unit. So I have to first be able to manage my own life, get my house in order kind of thing. So I'm working on that. But that's coming from the logic body. Prioritizing. This is not something that moment by moment I might be able to focus on. There are times I have to so that's why the last part here is I want to just spend time doing the regular things that are all for the sake of the logic umbrella over, right? So now I'm going to get into from this place of the center, right? Because I spoke last week about the 4 centers, and now we spoke about 3 centers, the upper centers, and in these areas it's kind of like the gravity goes down, but these are more radiant upward facing. So I'm going to talk about how, the bottom half of what goes down by gravity is like from the past. So first address, what are some ways we can bless past versions of ourselves that are still living in our body? One is, and I mentioned a few times, things where I have to forgive myself. So I can honor my boldness and my bravery. I can honor my independence and contentment. This is previous versions of myself that I'm benefiting from now. I can honor my brainy academic studiousness. I can honor my dedication and loyalty. I can honor my willingness to transform. I can honor my ability to heal and move on. I can honor my patience and tolerance and endurance. I can honor my pursuit of creativity and perfection. I can honor my humility and modesty. I can honor my capacity for domestication. I mentioned things about wanting to have a family and getting a house in order and clean. And I can honor my neediness and friend making. I can honor my strength and discipline. I can honor my ignorance and beauty. And I can honor my caring, kind, sweet patience. And what also might get repressed down and, is special needs. We want to focus on special abilities coming from this area, but what could get settled down and get denied from these areas is special needs. And that's why we need to, bring that information up and create this open channel from all the centers of gravity. So this is where I can grant myself innocence, reliable, consistent person, eat carefully and wisely. To get a reliable, consistent person could even be a friend or mentor. It doesn't have to be a partner. Get some silence and peace on the daily for my nervous system. Not be in situations where I know I might be yelled at or menaced at. To have a time cushion buffer in my schedules. Body love, self-care of my physical container daily. Being honest about my state and place. This is, I spoke about not being more advanced, not trying to be anyone, witnessing what is. Giving benefit of the doubt and validation. This is in line with blessing the past versions of myself. And then, of course, growing each day, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, which happens from doing this work that I'm sharing with you. And now I'm going to go into less space and more space. So just space in general. What does it mean to take up more space or, taking up more space, filling the space, or letting there be more space by emptying? It's an interesting way to look at it. So crying, for me, I'm going to share, and it's just, a conversation, but one-sided, so that I'm reading from what I wrote, so it's I'm talking, but I'm also sharing what someone else wrote. You could look at this as I'm reading what somebody else might have written, with all these cards, but it's you could have this conversation with yourself too. So crying with a witness who can see and hear me and touch me. Acknowledging my expectations of others and even communicating them out loud. Taking days, hours, minutes to process on my own, for as long as I need to digest and respond and integrate. Some things I try to answer right away, but I need some time. Some things I try to do right away, but I need hours. And some things I try to make decisions over or readjust, but it could take days, projects and things. Putting my own needs first and focusing on my own well-being, safety, and comforts before others. Letting the hairs on my upper lip, chin grow. This is something I'm practicing right now, as I think, you could see. And still feel, am I beautiful? Am I a freak? Am I acceptable? Am I a misfit? Letting my supports and resources serve me. Take what's for me. Show up how I need to be. Be present as is available in that moment. And not being the sum of my history and my experiences, but choosing how to see these new versions and aspects of myself on a daily, regular basis. But not pushing down these old versions they become integrated, and then I can actually still continue to grow as I've been sharing this. And finally, facing uncertainty and facing rejection with firm patience. So, not knowing, rejection as course correction, and uncertainty as I'm not going to jump to fill in the blank. I'm sure I'm going to talk more about these exact themes I'm sharing now, but just as a practice kind of like taking up more space means allowing the space to be there without immediately filling it up. And finally, what does taking up less space mean? And this could be either like filling up the space so that there's less space, or emptying the space so that there is less space filled up. It means for me not removing my body hair and facial hair right now because it might offend or disappoint someone. It means not showering for someone else's sake, like because I want to be clean, not because, I'm going to see someone, I have to shower. Like, I think I was raised a little bit in this culture with, like, you shower because you're going to do something, not necessarily because you want to or because you feel good. And that came up for me because I'm still working on it. Sometimes I shower only because I'm going, like, to see somebody, or I'll reorganize my day because I have to shower after I exercise because I might see people. But why can't they see me after the gym? The gym being my bedroom. Why can't they see me, as I am? I showered yesterday. So that's like something I'm working with. It means saying how I feel and how I see it in as many words as I need. It's saying I need a certain amount of alone time or uninterrupted space. It means eating as much as I'm hungry for. It means having my own needs come first, not focusing on reducing others' needs, problems before my own. So this is like directly self-caring rather than caring for someone and then I'm allowed to care for myself. It's saying I need a certain, it's owning the desire for reassurance and appreciation I need, in certain areas. It means being friends even with the misfits and strange people if I like them and it feels good. It doesn't mean I'm a misfit, or it might mean I am, but it's more about, I'm only supposed to be friends with people who other people in my head might approve of. And finally, it means not giving my energy to people I'm feeling are takers or difficult when I don't have it for them. I can be difficult enough for myself, and I can take enough from my own reservoir. So looking at it like that. Thank you for spending time with me. I will be hopefully sharing another video tomorrow on similar topics. Wishing you lots of balance, lots of space, and more flow.